His voice slowly begins to fade out as I close my eyes. For the time being, I stop caring about everything else around me. I forget about Mother, about my talk with Dolor and Parfait, about the Cursal, the Marchand, and I focus on Rumpel. Is it so selfish to want to be the only person held like this by him? Even when he was engaged to someone before? Slumber slowly reaches up to claim me, darkness intermingling with warmth. In that last moment, I think I see Rumpel smile at me. Aww. Mother, I have to tell you about the fairy tale that the children read to me today. Lucette, what did I tell you about the fairy tales? But there was a princess just like me. She found a prince charming, and fairy tales are not real. But they make really good stories, Mother. They are false stories. Did you really think they would be so easy to live happily ever after? No, but fairy tales make things black and white. Real life is full of grays. Black and white. Good and evil. No one is totally evil and no one is totally good. Even princes are not completely just. So princesses and princesses can be bad? Lucette, everyone has darkness to them. The princes that throw themselves into danger are not selfless. They seek wealth, fame, or power. You see, fairy tales are lies because no one is so selfless and so full of love. People are two-faced. Trust no one. Yes, Mother. No one will love you like I do. To find pure love like that is impossible. Alright. I slowly blink my eyes open. For a few moments, the room is blurry, and there is nothing but vivid colors before my eyes. My eyes feel heavy, my throat scratchy. I stifle a cough as I blink back tears. Then, through my eyes, I notice a slight motion. Rumpel? Rumpel is slumped in the chair in front of my bed, his head low to the side, his eyes closed. He murmurs something in his sleep and then shifts. What's he doing here? I notice a notebook in his lap. And what is that journal? I slowly slide my hand out from underneath the covers and reach across the bed. Right as my fingers are about to brush the cover, Rumpel's hand suddenly falls on mine. Looks like you're feeling better. He pulls his hand away along with the book before carefully setting my hand back down on the covers. At least you look better, but how do you feel? Better? Rumpel looks tired, but his smile is still there. Oh, I won't believe it until I see it. You just said I looked better. That's my own analysis, but you, my sweet princess, don't sound very convinced. My throat is a little sore, and I think if I stood up, I would fall over. Why do you look so surprised? You would usually never admit to such a thing, would you? You're still most definitely sick. Rumpel leans forward to put a hand on my forehead. His hand is cool on my hot skin. Our eyes lock as he tests my temperature. After a few moments, he finally peels his eyes away from me and sits back in his chair. Your temperature is down, but you definitely need the rest, princess. You should go back to sleep. And what? You would just sit there and watch me? The words come out courtier than I mean them to, and for a few moments Rumpel looks surprised, and he laughs. Princess, I haven't been just staring at you. I've been writing in my journals too. You have such a scary look on your face. Not that it isn't enticing, but I think your smiles are much better. I sigh as I close my eyes for a few moments. I fight to put my scribbled thoughts together, but in one thought in particular keeps resurfacing. For some reason, I can't help but remember those 9 women standing next by Rumpel's side jeering at me earlier. I open my eyes and look at Rumpel, those women from earlier. Alright, I apologize for their impoliteness. The things they said to you were uncalled for, and I told them that. You flirt with women like that all the time, but why? They're not even good people. Not good people, but well, I suppose they act differently when you're there. Princess Lucette, you're blind to their jealousy, aren't you? They are jealous of me? Why? My mind turns over what they could be possibly jealous of about as my eyes fall on Rumpel. I remember the way he defended me to the women. Is it because you're my partner? It's a lot more than that. It's your grace, the noble way you carry yourself. They would never think I have those qualities. But where else would their jealousy stem from? They are just jealous that I take your attention away from them. Princess, I think even if they were nice people, I do not see how you can flirt with them, even when you were just recently in love with someone else. Normally I would stop talking, but the words continue tumbling out of me. I do not understand how someone like you who had a fiancé could still be flirting with girls. How can you love someone if all you do is flirt with other girls? Flattery is one thing, but you cannot just flatter every girl. Why are you still smiling at me? I may not remember a lot of things, Princess, but I know for certain that whatever feelings I have for Bria vanished a long time ago. The good ones, at least. Rumpel. The words break as I start coughing. Don't rile yourself up over this, please. Rest. I slowly lean back into my pillows with my eyes half closed. Why do I even care about what Rumpel does? Why does it bother me that he flirts with other girls? That is his business. Rumpel covers closer to my chin and smiles. Just because I flatter other women, that doesn't mean that I can't love someone. You always say some woman has stolen your heart, but your heart cannot belong to everyone. Yet you told me you always speak the truth. Maybe that in itself is a little white lie, so just some harmless dramatics. But most girls know that I'm being dramatic, Princess. They don't take my words so seriously, even if I do mean my compliments. He stares at me for a few moments, thoughtful. Does it bother you so much that I compliment other girls? Of course not! Though it would be difficult to hold my tongue, I will do it for you, Princess, so don't worry. Why would he do something like that for me? My eyes are suddenly so heavy, I have no choice but to close them as I let out a deep sigh. My head is beginning to hurt again. Behind my closed eyelids, I can hear a soft shuffle as Rumpel moves in his chair. But right before I fall back into the darkness of sleep, I feel something warm and soft on my forehead. Rumpel? A goodnight kiss? His words are quiet and I can only just barely make them out. I cannot think on them because a pull of sleep is much too tempting. Oh! God, when can they just kiss each other already? It takes a while, but after several days, Rumpel finally allows me to go back to work. I cannot remember much of what happened when he was watching over me, especially that first day. It is all a little bit of a blur now, like it was all just a dream. Princess, back up on your feet? Yes, I am fine now. Oh, what a relief. Last I saw you looked quite pale. When? I dropped in to check in on you in your room, but Rumpel was there. He told me that he had everything under control. Why did you need to check on me? Because I was worried, of course. Maybe you've been working too hard. No, I'm fine. Just tell me what things need to be done. Are you sure you're okay? She's fine, Anise. Dolores suddenly appears before me, smirking. The princess is stirring, a little too stubborn to let a little sickness get her down. I have not spoken with Dolores parfait since that night, where they decided to tell me about Mother. Just thinking about what they told me, it puts me on edge. Princess, why the sour expression? Allow me to calm you down with a little lullaby. Excuse me? Twinkle, twinkle, little star. Oh, how I wonder what you are. Anise, give me those work orders now. Up above the world so high. Anise! Oh, the tables on the west are yours, Princess Lucette. I quickly walk away from the bar and catch only the last little bit of Dolores singing. Like a diamond in the sky. She sang that the night I was cursed. Hearing her sing it is infuriating. The song slowly fades from my mind as I go about my work for the day. I am still a little shaky on my feet, but not so much that I need to go back to bed. As I'm walking around the bar, I catch snatches of conversations as I serve food. I hear the king has been mediating arguments between his two advisors. That Mythros man, he reminds me of a snake, always smiling that slithery smile of his. That one, 𝐕𝐬𝐿𝐺𝐹, apparently there has been no end to their squabbles. The king missed his monthly visit to the town yesterday, didn't he? I wonder if he's sick. There's been no word from the palace, but I suppose he must have come down with something. Nothing would keep the king from visiting otherwise. What is going on at the palace? You heard about the incident with the royal guard? Apparently lots of them have been getting dishonorably discharged. What? Found something to dishonor the king's name. Huh? Like what exactly? Not sure. That information is still under wraps. I'm walking forward, not watching where I'm going, when I collide with someone in my path. I feel a hand on my shoulder, then another lifts my chin. If it isn't the lovely princess, you're looking a lot peachier today. Because you're not as pale, because the color's coming back into your skin. I am still thinking of the king and the situations in the palace, and barely hear Rumpel's words. It isn't until he leans closer to me and narrows his eyes that I realize he is so close. Now Sleeping Beauty is truly awake, and here I was hoping I would have an excuse to plant a kiss on your lips, my sweet princess. Oh my god. Not a single reaction today, not a slight blush, not a slap, not... Are you still slick? Are you still sick? Must I perform another examination? Examination? Yes, by looking closely at your face, into your eyes. How are you a doctor, Rumpel? Rumpel stares at me with surprise. I am not sure where the question came from, just that it was hovering in my mind. What? Princess, you wound me. I have not seen you do anything different from Anise. But my prescriptions. Even the people at the shops could tell us what medicines to buy. Fine, I'll show you. Rumpel's expression slips into something shockingly solemn. He looks at me gravely and extends a hand. If you would be so kind as to come up to my room. Does going up to your room have anything to do with work? Dolora appears before me again, this time without the snide smile. She raises an eyebrow. I don't think either of your ships are over. She looks at me first. Also, I meant for the lullaby to inspire you, not scare you, princess. For a few moments, she looks concerned, which startles me. The lullaby is certainly associated with a terrible memory, but the way that memory has dissipated over time, as has my anger at Dolora. It is still there, but holding onto that anger does me no good. I sigh and shake my head. You have a terrible voice. Ah, there's the princess we all know and love. She crosses her arms. Anyway, you don't want me to sing you into action again, do you? Come to my room later then, princess. I'll show you proof. Proof that I'm a capable doctor. Rumpel walks off, leaving me with Dolora, who looks at me skeptically for a few moments. Something on your mind, princess? There were so many conversations that I heard earlier, so many questions that I have. While I do not want to speak to Dolora, I may as well ask her about something she might know. I overheard rumors about the palace. Did you now? We still haven't confirmed those rumors yet. Look, princess, I know it's not in your nature to trust people, but trust Parfait and me at least will let you know something is up. I'm ushered back to work, where I spend the next few hours searching for more information. Unfortunately, everything I hear is just speculation. Good work today, Lucette. Has Rumpel already left? I think he went up to his room earlier. Thank you. Anise looks at me curious. What? You and Rumpel have grown a lot closer, haven't you? Well, we are partners. But in the beginning, you didn't even want him as a partner. And now the two of you are friends? Oh, friends. If Rumpel considers me a friend, that should make me happy, but for some reason it makes me feel empty inside. Why? What else could we be besides friends? My cheeks feel warm as I try to think beyond the idea of just being friends with Rumpel. I'm happy that the two of you get along. I need to go. I told him I would meet him for something tonight. Okay, sorry for holding you up. Annie scrambles off, leaving me by myself. I stand there for a few moments in an attempt to still my thoughts, and then I begin to make my way to Rumpel's room. Rumpel. The door swings open and there stands Rumpel. With a dramatic bow, he ushers me inside before closing the door behind him. I wasn't entirely certain you'd show up, princess. Normally when you go places with me, it's out of necessity. I only came to see this proof you insisted upon earlier, proof that you are more than what you seem. He places a hand on my back and guides me over to a chair. He requests that I sit, and I do. Here it is, my proof. You tried to read it while you were sick, too. A journal. Your journal. I've seen him writing this before, but I thought it was for his memories, not for doctor things. He barely even works on patients now. Rumpel's persistence stokes my curiosity, and soon I find myself flipping through the pages of the book. This was the journal you had when the marchand found you on the streets. You said it was empty then. It was. I have been filling things in from memory ever since I remembered my job. The book is filled with diagrams of the body, both inside and out. I have no idea what most of the words mean. What are all the smaller words here? Oh, parts of the pancreas. Not very fun to talk about. There's the pablia, the pancreatic duct. Why is it necessary to use such big words for such simple things? For clarification, sometimes when you diagnose a problem, it isn't as simple as telling a person that their heart is weak. I continue flipping through it, with Rumpel sometimes explaining things that are on the page, though I do not ask for the descriptions. Scattered throughout the journal are journal entries about his life. When I get to the last entry, I spot my name and begin to read, but before I can even get to the next word after my name, Rumpel has taken the journal from my hands. Ah, sorry, my sweet, but a man's word are sometimes all he has. Insult them and you break him from the inside out. He thinks I'm going to insult his writing? But what did you think? Aren't you impressed with my sophistication, my breeding of knowledge, my intricacy? You drew some pictures and wrote fancy words by them. Princess. I cannot help the little laugh that escapes my lips. Immediately after I hear it, I feel myself flushing as Rumpel grins at me triumphantly. Your laughs are sweeter than honey, princess. And because your voice is back and you're no longer sick, I can hear it in all of its fullness. He takes a step closer to me and reaches out to touch my cheek. I flinch in surprise but do not draw away. The rapid beating of my heart is not altogether uncomfortable, even if it does confuse me. He pulls his hand away from my cheek and then flicks my forehead. What was that for? I wanted to see the way your eyes glimmered. You looked oddly vacant there for a few moments. I opened my mouth to speak again, but Rumpel surprises me by setting his finger on my lips. He inches closer to me, so close that I can feel his breath on my cheeks. But even when you don't speak, your eyes speak for you. You have beautiful eyes, you know. Ah! My God. Look away. Look away. Because that's what Lucette would do. There he goes again with his compliments. I should be used to them by now, but lately whenever he compliments me, I cannot stop myself from feeling flattered. When I look into his eyes, I can almost see my reflection in them. Without realizing, I look away from him, feeling my breath stop short before I can breathe out. Are you sick, Princess? You look a little flushed. Princess. He removes his finger. He does not, however, step back. I'm still aware of his lips so close to mine and his eyes which are looking right at me. This feels different than your usual resistant. Could it be that you're embarrassed? Aww. He clears his throat and starts speaking again. In any case, it's so nice to have you back, Princess. I missed you while you were sleeping day in and out. He missed me? But you have friends all over the margin. Yes, but none of them are you. You're special. My heart plunges like a rock. I can feel it everywhere in my body, reverberating from a place that doesn't feel like my chest. He lowers his face so that the two of us are seeing eye to eye. I forget to breathe as his hands go to my shoulders. Princess, yes? I inhale sharply as I get a better look at Rumpel's face. Up until now, I have not stopped to look too closely at his features, but now I cannot take my eyes from taking them in. Whenever you're sick again, I'll be there to help you, because I am a doctor, even if you might not believe it. All you ever need is a little vitamin B. In one precious moment, every single bit of energy that had been between us vanishes. I stare blankly at Rumpel as he smiles at me. No? I thought that one was actually good too. Rumpel pulls his hands away defeated. I suddenly feel strangely upset. What was I expecting from him? What else could he have said? Suddenly, I'm eager to look away from him. I look anywhere but at him, and eventually my eyes fall on a piece of paper. I recognize the name printed on the top, along with Rumpel's signature and the response lying next to it. Rumpel moves to stand in front of the desk once more. Ah, that's... You are still writing to Bria? I sent her a letter asking for my old journals. I'm convinced that's where the last of my memories are, but she refuses to give them to me. I glance at Bria's letter, my eyes scouring the words. I make a mental note of the address on the envelope. But don't worry, Princess. I'll figure it out. But for now... He reaches for me, but I duck out of the way of his hand. I have to do this now while the address is still fresh in my head. I just remember there is something I need to do. Princess, I will see you tomorrow. I pause at the door to glance at Rumpel. See you tomorrow, Princess. Sweet dreams. Good night, Rumpel. Girl. God. Done. I seal the envelope over the letter I had been writing since I woke up. And now to have it delivered. After I have the letter sent off with the messenger, I return to my work for the day. It starts first with Mr. Broom, then with the surveying. I look for Rumpel, knowing that it is now his time off, and surprised when I see him not sitting with other women, but with Karma. What? The two of them are laughing together? What? I guess that advice isn't too terrible. I give the best advice, darling. I'm a man of the heart. Perhaps not as much as I am, but I can give you credit when it's due. What are you two talking about? Oh, Princess. Well, hello there, Princess. Karma's mischievous smile confuses me. Even Rumpel looks surprisingly shaken. You did not answer my question. We are talking about matters related to the heart. Of course you are. I took it upon myself to impart valuable advice to Rumpel. You are giving Rumpel advice, even though you two are always at each other's throats? Huh, even the bitterest enemies can become beloved friends. All it takes is a shared interest. I have no idea what you're talking about. But before I can say anything else, I'm swept up by Delora, who calls me back to work. The day goes on, and soon is almost my break. I go to the front to see if the messenger has returned yet. Oh, Princess, there's a letter here for you. I did not expect a response. I open it up and stare down at the letter for a long time. Writing love letters to a secret lover princess? Oh, yeah, to you. Rumpel appears behind me, his smile unusually small. He looks almost hesitant to be standing there. It is not important. I stuff the letter into my pocket and continue working. For the rest of the day, I ignore Rumpel. I do not want him asking about this letter, just in case things do not go according to plan. He is obviously disheartened by my ignoring him, and his sadness only persists in making me feel guilty. This is not something he can know about, otherwise he'll try to stop me. Well, you don't have to ignore him. Almost everyone has gone to the rooms, including a very sad Rumpel. The only people remaining are Anise and myself. Earlier, Waltz came in insisting that he speak to Delora and Parfait, and so the three of them are all off talking in the other room. Curiosity gets the best of me, and soon I find myself sleeping closer to the door. I edge it open quietly with my foot so that I can see what's happening inside. I didn't think he was still alive. This is very troubling. Oh god. He must have used a glamour. But the fact that I didn't realize it was him Is that the princess that I spot peeping through the door? I try to hide, but all the eyes in the room catch me before I can do so. Do you eavesdrop on people often, Lucette? I had no real reason to eavesdrop on them besides my own curiosity. It's no harm done, Delora. Lucette, are you almost done with your chores? Ever since that conversation with Parfait and Delora, I have noticed that the words Parfait and I speak to each other are strained. Delora, however, is unchanged. I expect sarcasm from her now, but she does not deliver. She simply stands still and looks at me somberly. I am, and what are you all talking about? Hiding more things from me? We're talking about the rumors that have been going around the palace. What have you heard? I have right to know what is happening at the palace. We would tell you if we knew for certain, Princess. Walt sighs as he runs a hand through his hair. I know the timing doesn't seem right, but I really should show myself out. I have a show early morning tomorrow. He glances around at all of us. I'm going to excuse myself for the night. Good night, everyone. As he passes by me, he smiles. And to you too, Princess. Okay, good night, Waltz. Once again, everyone was being secretive. Why the sour face, Princess? Are you worried about what happens to the people in the palace you cared nothing for? Bitch. Delora. Okay, that wasn't called for. But really, though, there is something I've been meaning to tell you. Since you're here now, I may as well say it. I knew you for 1 year before I cursed you. I saw what your mother had done to you, and I knew I needed to undo the damage before your birthday. Why is she talking about this now? I called you cruel and wicked when really I knew that the way you were caused by the way your mother brought you up. And when we talked about Hilda the other day, I was unfair what I said to you. We all have to face reality, but... Delora pauses, looking surprisingly solemn. She sighs, then continues. I always knew you had some good in you. I saw it in you when you spoke to your dolls. You have a good heart. Many people enjoy flattery, Princess, and a lot of people are receptive to flirting, but nothing can measure up to a genuine compliment. Delora just complimented me? Thank you. Out of all people, I did not expect Delora to compliment me, not when she makes a point of always telling me the blunt truth. Thank you. There is no shock on Parfait and Delora's faces when they smile at me. I'm beginning to think you and Delora are alike. You're both stubborn and have good in you, but you hide it behind sarcasm. Hey, Lucette and I are nothing alike. I feel lighter somehow. I do not know if I have forgotten Delora just yet, but her cursing me has led me to see many things I would not have seen before. I owe her nothing, but I am still happy, even if the truth hurts. Oh, what's this? My lovely little princess isn't here with you two? Ah, Rumpel, you're early tonight. Surprised to see me, beautiful? Aww! Rumpel's early anxiety is gone. He looks at me with unbridled enthusiasm. I heard the princess's thank you from a distance. The words and the move are always most beautiful when leaving her mouth. So you are also eavesdropping. You two are very alike. Not at all. Rumpel leans towards me and smiles. My dream is to one day hear those words from you too, because you say them as gentle as the wind. If you're here to talk to Parfait about medicine, then I'm out. Lucette, you should leave too. Well then, sleep well, beautiful maidens. I quickly finish my chores and return to my room where I lay on my bed contemplating tomorrow. I cannot believe Bria wrote back to me. Tomorrow I will meet with her and hopefully she will agree to give me his journals. I hope this works, for Rumpel's sake. Chapter 8. Chevalier. Is that his name? Oh my god. Today I am outside by myself. I think if Parfait or Delora knew, they would do worse than scold me. I shuffle uncomfortably. As I sit at the little cafe Bria told me to wait for her at. A part of me is already convinced that she will not come. When I wrote her that letter asking for Rumpel's journals and she responded so easily, I was a little suspicious, but this is really the only chance I have. The only chance you'll have at what? Bria appears in front of me, not looking together all unpleased, but still not smiling. Nothing. I do not like her, but I will have to play nice if I want to get Rumpel's journals back. Thank you for meeting me out here. Bria takes a seat in front of me, her expression still flat. You asked me in your letter why I was refusing to speak to Rumpel, and then you told me you wanted to meet with you to find out what. You want the journals too, don't you? She reaches into a bag and pulls out a few journals that I assume are Rumpel's. Okay, period, we got them back. So she does have them. I know your eyes. I must seem the villain, but I'm not the only one at fault in this relationship. Years ago, when I met Rumpel, he was as he is now. Flirtatious, charming, over the top, and yet his compliments still made my heart sore. His compliments may be shallow, but Rumpel is far from it. I pined after him for years. He was learning medicine, and I was studying to take over my mother's sewing shop. In the first years that I knew him, Rumpel always complimented my work, even though it was nothing special. He insisted we do trade-offs. When we started dating, he would offer me flowers and trinkets, and in exchange, I would sew him some article of clothing. I can see he's still wearing the scarf I made for him. That scarf is from Bria? We fell in love. Rumpel became a changed man, more serious. He became a doctor and I opened up a shop. We were supposed to have a fairy tale ending, but... Her expression falls again as she looks absently down at the table. We saw in each other's ideals that didn't exist. Love can be shallow or it can be deep. I felt our love was deep, but in truth, I only knew the very surface of Rumpel. The surface? I saw his kindness, his charm, and his drive to do what was right. But then as time went on, I also saw what that meant. The world is a place where only the strong survive. People are kind, but they will take advantage of those who are too caring. Those sound like Mother's words. I shudder as I think about Mother's pessimism, the same kind that lies in me. It is a realistic way of looking at the world, but it is also so dismal and cloudy that it is impossible to see with any light within it. Rumpel helps a lot of people. Many of them are wonderful people, and I was always happy to see him do so much. But then, he started putting other people above himself, and because we lived together, that meant me as well. Maybe it sounds petty to you, but no woman wants to live in poverty. I looked at her skeptically. In the back of my mind, I remember the convenience of luxury of so much money. I then recall the feeling of living poor on the streets and flinch. We had a house and we had a reputation, but Rumpel refused money most of the time. He helped lots of poor people, but he also dried out our wallets. And whenever I brought it up to him, he would smile as if that could just get rid of all our problems. He made a name for himself as a doctor who helped the poor for minimal money, sometimes for free. And even when I told him we needed more money, he put other people first. He was so selfish that he became selfish. And I told him before that he should have accepted money, that he needed it. So selfish that he became selfish. I had to go behind his back and find payment. What I was making wasn't enough. So I went to find his patients and tried to ask for money. I became almost like a beggar. Can you imagine my humiliation? Rumpel put his patients before Bria. I was convinced he didn't love me, and my love dwindled for him. Our relationship became strained. Bria goes on to explain the events that happened between her and the nobleman. He was one of Rumpel's patients, and then she went to him to ask for the money he had originally offered. The two of them became intimate. But it was short-lived, and when the nobleman left her behind, Bria had to deal with a soured reputation. I wanted to make it up to Rumpel. I thought I could salvage this relationship, maybe even start over and teach him what was right, but that is not my place. She sighs deeply and then gestures at me. I share blame in all this too, but so does Rumpel. That's why I've decided to let this all go. Whatever he does now, you'll have to deal with because you're his partner, right? Bria hands me the bag of journals. Don't look so surprised. You came here for these, not to listen to me. I thought on it last night, and I have no reason to keep them around when they'll just continue making me bitter. I had to rely on myself for a while, but that's fine. Sometimes it's easier to keep to yourself than to trust others. She moves to stand up, but I surprised myself by reaching out to grab her hand. Bria, I don't need your pity. I thought the same thing. What? I still think the same thing. It is so much easier to close the world off, but it is so much easier to trust no one but yourself. But it should also be a balance. That is what Rumpel has taught me. And I want to teach him how to have balance too. You? You're falling for his kindness the same way I did. You fell in love with him even though you told yourself he was shallow and unrealistic. My heart thumps once loudly in my chest. Love? I can read it right off your face. I know how it feels too, but don't get wrapped up in an ideal, little girl. That is my warning. If you can help him, actually help him, then you're meant to be together. But otherwise, trusting Rumpel might only break your heart. I'm not a little girl. I know how to be realistic. My worlds trail off as I look at her helplessly. Bria surprises me by speaking up quietly. Thank you for listening to me. She pulls her hand away and slowly smiles at me. It is the first honest smile I've seen on her face. I feel something warm in my chest and then a bright light emanates from my necklace. We brought our second good deed! A good deed for listening to Bria, or... I glance down at the bag of journals, then down at my necklace. Yay, we're one step closer to breaking our curse. I touch the pendant. The new piece brings a bright smile to my lips. Aww, I love the smile. I have 2 good deeds now. Only one more and I can break my curse. Magic, is this another fairytale curse? Yes. Your name was Lucette, wasn't it? Rumpel talked about you fondly. I hope the both of you break your curses. Good luck. Bria walks away, leaving me by myself in the town square. My mind swirls with everything that she just told me. I still cannot bring myself to like Bria, but I feel more closure now. Now something new plagues my mind. How can I fall in love with someone like Rumpel? The more I say it, the more it becomes a certainty, but rather than fill me with joy, it only makes me more confused. I cannot think about this now. I turn on my heels to head back and bump properly into a man. Oh, you. Varg. Oh, sorry, madam. He smiles at me and then keeps walking. I stare after him, feeling slightly uncomfortable. With the mask and a cloak, the man reminds me of a performer. I make my way back to the marching with a bag of journals, still struggling to keep my mind from wandering. Every time I think about Rumpel being so close to me or his kindness toward me, I feel jittery inside. Despite everything that Bria said, I cannot stop these feelings. These feelings are annoying, and yet even as I think that, I know it is not the full truth. Do I really? I hear the marchman's door opening and out steps Waltz. The minute he sees me, his eyes widen and he runs toward me. Princess, where were you? I was running an errand. I hope the bag, but it does little to ease Waltz's frustration. We were all looking for you, and we got worried that the witches had found you. Rumpel already went out into town. What? I'll go. Please, Princess, stay inside. His expression softens somewhat, but all I can see on his face is worry. Girl, oh my god. I'll go get Rumpel. My mood feels completely dashed as I enter the march to whispers both relieved and disappointed. Surprisingly, I get away with just a lecture from Delore and Parfait. It seems as if there is something else on their mind, something that most likely involves the rumors circulating around town. I wait downstairs for a long time for Rumpel, but neither him nor Waltz appear. Where are they? I retire to my room later as I wait for news. Waltz eventually returns, saying that Rumpel is still out because he had things he wanted to do. I have no idea what that means, but it unsettles me. Should I go find him? Yeah, bitch, go find him. Leave the room. I stand and stop for a few moments to look at the bag of journals beside my bed, and here I was looking forward to giving these journals to him. I make my way toward the door, turn the knob, and then walk outside. Princess. Before I can even think about saying anything, I feel his warmth envelop me and I freeze. One of his hands moves to the small of my back where it remains as he smiles down at me. I caught you just in time, my feisty sweet. Did you plan on escaping into the dead of night again? Have words abandoned you in the wake of my dramatic appearance? I hurriedly pry myself away with little gasps. A few steps back, I can see him in full, and I notice the bouquet he carries. Bouquet? I'm glad to see you back, Princess. I'm only sorry that I couldn't make it back here any faster. I had a few errands of my own to run in town. Rumpel holds out the bouquet with a glittering smile. Like buying these flowers for the Grove of Life, for instance? I stare down at the beautiful bouquet made up of white lilies. But the appearance slowly leaves my mind as I think of what Rumpel just said. He bought them for a girl he likes, not for me. You're so stupid. Oh my god, bro. My heart feels as if it might be pierced through with something sharp. My breath escapes my throat, but I cannot bring myself to inhale again. Rumpel looks at me in alarm. Lucette. I nudge him out of the way and walk past him. I make my way to the reception area where I collapse onto one of the couches and sit staring blankly at the walls. The feelings inside of me are all too much at once. I tell myself they do not make any sense and that the way I reacted to what Rumpel said was pitiful. And yet, I still cannot help myself from feeling small. I sink into the couch and close my eyes, willing away the sound of my rapidly beating heart and the tears stinging the edge of my eyes. I am not weak. I will not cry. Mother told me. But the thought of Mother makes the tears worse, and soon I am sinking even further into the couch, trying to hide my tear-stained face in my hands. Mother, Bria, they both said the same things. They both see the bad in people, and I too have seen the bad in them. When I was on the streets, no one in Angielle showed me kindness. People will never show you kindness unless there is something in it for them. They will never... I feel sudden warmth as arms wrap around me. I recognize the sensation, the warmth and comfort. It is also comforting, so soothing. I must be the worst person in the world to make such a beautiful lady cry. It is a sin that I must atone for. My body stiffens, but I do not pull away. I listen to the sound of his heartbeat against my ear, and slowly but surely my crying dies away. My eyes are sore by the time I finally manage to steal the tears. I feel a drowsiness descend upon me like a blanket, but I will not fall asleep. Slowly, I pry myself from the arms holding me. Hello, my love. I messed up again, didn't I? I do not see the bouquet in his hands, but a journal. One of the journals I brought back for him from Bria. You're capable of a lot more good than I am, Princess. Just look at this. He reaches out and touches my necklace. I glance down at it. You got my journals back for me. I saw them in your room. And I feel it, that this one, the most recently dated one, is the one that I need to unlock my final memory. I grasp a second incomplete glass slip around my neck and breathe out softly. Then, this really is from retrieving Rumpel's journals for him. I got a good deed for finally doing something good for Rumpel. Would you allow me to read it with you? He reaches out and gently brushes a tear from my face. You did all this for me and you barely know anything about me. That makes both of us. If you wouldn't mind, I want to read out this entry for you. I nod, even though I should be shaking my head. Even though I should still be hurt, I cannot stay mad at Rumpel. On this night, I am a poor man. Everything that is precious to me has been stolen away by the witch. Rumpel's voice catches in his throat as he stares at the words. I look over his shoulder at the journal. Witch? Was he already cursed when he wrote this? But I have no one to blame but myself. Bria told me before that I would suffer from my selflessness, and so now I find myself here. And now, because of that same selflessness, Bria is sick and I cannot save her. There is only one thing left to do. I have wronged Bria in so many ways, and now I will give anything it takes to save her. No matter what price the witch asks, I will pay it. I only hope that Bria can forgive me before she leaves. I will write again when the witch is left. I swear that after today I will change for good. I will not ask the witch to perform any more miracles. Rumpel's finger goes to the page where he softly touches a single word. His eyes have the glazed look in them that they had before, and I can tell his memories are snapping back together. For tonight, good night, and may tomorrow be a better morning. I read the last word, a name and a signature. Rumpel reads it aloud slowly. Chevalier Dumont. Your name is Chevalier? He looks up at me, his eyes forlorn, and then with sadness he speaks. That's right! It is so strange. It is just a different name, and yet it seems to change him completely. I remember everything now. I was given the Rumpelstiltskin curse because I sacrificed too much. First it was the boy, the one we saw in the market. I struck a deal with a woman to save him, a witch. He mentioned striking a deal with a woman, but a witch? I don't have the ability to heal, none of us do, except for one particular witch who calls herself the Witch Doctor. Witch Doctor? Is something wrong? The name just sounds familiar. The Witch Doctor. It's no wonder I recognize the name, but yes, it was her. She promised she could heal the boy, but for a price. I had to give her a family heirloom. I gave my family a stethoscope. Next was the nobleman. I could not help him, and so he lay in his bed dying. The witch visited again and gave her what she asked for. What did you give her? My engagement ring. Oh my god. Bria found out. She told me she'd never forgive me, and then she chased the nobleman to ask for the money we desperately needed, and, well, you know the rest. He gave away things that were precious to him, all to help those people. Then Bria got sick. I made one last deal with the witch because I was desperate to save her life. But it wasn't until after she healed Bria that she told me what she wanted. She wanted your memories. I don't remember what happened exactly. I think I panicked because I suddenly lost my memories. I ran out into the alleys, bumped my head on something, fell unconscious. And then I woke up here in the tower and I had no idea who I was or how I had gotten cursed. Rumpel. Chevalier's expression grows more somber. I deserved to be cursed after everything I had done. I was so selfish, an idealist maybe, but I hurt Bria because I refused to see reality. I still deserve to be cursed, actually. But why? Because I'm so selfish. Even having remembered everything that made me a bad person, I still desire something. Someone I shouldn't have. Oh! My heart plummets again as he looks at me. I still want so badly to forge a future with someone who I don't deserve, but what am I other than a poor doctor? I'm no knight in shining armor, and I'm no prince. He puts a hand on my cheek and then leans closer to me. The distance between us closes in mere seconds. Still, I keep on dreaming because His fingers gently caress my cheek, and suddenly I know. I know what he is going to say before he even says it. No, I love you. But I'm not. Whether you are Rumpel or Chevalier, you are the same person. You do not need to be a knight or a prince. He accepted me for who I was, and he still does. Mother told me that humans were untrustworthy, but... Chevalier smiles at me as he puts his hand on my back and pulls me closer. That smile is so genuine, so gentle, the same smile I've grown to love. Oh my god. Oh. This is my favorite kiss, CG. Whatever words I have been meaning to say die in my throat as he leans forward and gently places his lips on mine. I feel more grounded than I've ever felt before, but I also feel like I'm flying. I set my hands on his chest and flex my fingers into his shirt. He runs his finger gently down my face and then down the length of my neck. The kiss feels too short, yet I am still breathless when Chevalier pulls away from me, just enough so that I can see his eyes. I love you, my sweet princess. Oh my god. For your smile, for your laugh, for the way you look out for other people. You're bold and feisty, and you remind me of a firework. You are beautiful inside and out. The compliment warms my heart in a way that makes me feel like it might be melting. He reaches behind them and holds out the bouquet from earlier. These are for you. You like lilies, don't you? I take the bouquet from him and bring it to my nose. These have always been my favorite flower. How did you know? Chevalier grins at me, and it is so similar to his previous smiles that I know he must not have changed. The first time I gave you that white chocolate flower, your eyes lit up. I figured out the Chevalier was perceptive before, but the bouquet in my hands feels all the more meaningful now. Princess, I swear that I want to try and change. For you. You should do it for yourself, too. Myself? You should spoil yourself more, too. You always give to others, but don't take for yourself. Now you know what you did, and you can change things. If Bria can, then so can I. Bria? I went and spoke to her when I was in town today while I was getting the bouquet as a gift for you. We had a talk about moving on. I didn't understand it fully, and I don't think she did either, but we both agreed that we should. So I'm going to change what I can, princess. And I promise I'm going to help you break your curse, just as you helped me break mine. All the good things I have done are for you. Aww. Oh, that's true. But you've done a lot of other good deeds too, even if they may not be big enough to count for your 3 good deeds. It just so happens that your curse is very picky. Good things. Even though I am so curt and say more awful things than not. I fingered the necklace at my neck and thought, maybe Chevalier is right. Maybe I have changed, and it is a good change. I stay close to Chevalier as the night goes on. He tells me a little bit about his past, and I tell him about mine. About Mother and the Palace, the knight is not one for advice, just listening. And I remember what Chevalier told me once, that listening can be just as meaningful as advice, that listening to others can help you understand them, and he was right.